You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
What's up, sports world? What's going on? How you doing? You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and on a live show, we live people's. Sorry about the delay. Of course, we had a few technical difficulties that we ironing out, but we here. We are live for our first live edition, and I'm so excited to be talking to my peoples in the Sports Coma Nation. So, welcome aboard all new and established listeners of the show. In this podcast, we'll be previewing the Bucs and the Saints before the Bucs and the Saints get at it. Got a lot of news to cover with y'all. We're going to have the injury reports. We're going to talk about Brandin Marshall, where he is. We got some other topics to talk about. The Sports Coma Question today, we'll release that to you. And topics such as Jamal Adams saying, man, stop copying the Saints defense, man. That's their celebration. We'll get into that. Jaylen Smith gets fined. Of course, we said he was going to get fined. The son of a gun got fined. But you know what's not fine is the fact that guy, man, that don't do us no good. No good. I mean, absolutely no good for Jaylen Smith to get fined 56 G's unless they're going to kind of share that with the Sports Coma and the Saints Nation, man. You know what I'm saying? That won't be nothing much, like $1 a piece. $2, $3, don't matter. In this episode, like I said, we got a lot to talk about, but first and foremost, I'd like to thank all our wonderful people out there in the Sports Coma land for getting with us today in our live show. I'd like to thank you guys for chiming in on this particular live podcast. We appreciate you for what you do and how you do and when you join us here. Now, let's get right into it. Like I said, we're going to talk about the Saints and Bucs. We got some other questions. The question of the day we're going to hit you with. We got the Saints news talking about Brandin Marshall. When is he going to play? Is he going to play? DC has his injury report. He's here as well. We also have the Jaylen Smith news, Jamal Adams news I'll be talking about. We're going to read some replies from the previous question of the day. We also going to break this game down. We're going to talk about the Saints the Saints defense. We're going to give credit where credit's due. A lot of credit where credit's due. And some of the credit is supposed to be dealing with a lot of the stuff dealing with, let's say, Demario Davis, of course. A lot of people getting a lot of push, a lot of pub. But you can't, to be honest with you, you cannot talk about giving a Pro Bowl invite until you start talking about Demario Davis. They looking past Demario Davis. I seen something ridiculous about Kurt Coleman getting a look at. That must have been a typo. But, you know, credit has got to be given to Demario Davis because I think in the middle and what he's doing is instrumental. He's played every game, damn near every snap on defense, and he's instrumental in the Saints' improvement. So without further ado, we're going to get right into some of the information dealing with here. DC, what's going on, my friend? Chime in.
Yo, it's Sunday, fun day. Shining bright. Saints about to do their thing, you know, every day, every week. So good to be here, being here live. Looking forward to talking to some of our intelligent fans about this football talk, man. breaking down the business and adding some entertainment before the game, because I hate the pregame shows. I don't know about y'all, but I really hate the Saints pregame shows. We got some good postgame shows out there. I don't think nothing better than ours and our family here, but the pregame shows are horrible. So we trying to start this. It would have been better if we could have did it week 1, but hey, better late than never. So glad to see y'all family, and Big Q, let's get it popping, man.
Getting right into it, my man. We got some news to hit y'all with. Marshawn Lattimore was also served with a fine about 13 G's for unsportsmanlike conduct, pulling cash out from his knee and donated to the Salvation Army. That got him a fine. That got him a fine. And it also got Zeke Elliott a fine as well for celebrating, I mean, this is just asinine, man. The guy takes out $23 and puts it in there. Come on, man. This football, man. Remember before they start allowing the celebrations to occur, how the NFL would throw unsportsmanlike conduct? When we not playing in the 60s no more, man. This is a lightness and exciting game. Let those guys have a little fun, man. That's not hurting anybody. Of course, some other news to make mention of, DC made mention of, is the fact that we're going to be without Armstead, which is I don't think.
Pretty much the only injury on the injury report. Everybody else is ready to go, man. Armstead was the only guy I seen still on the injury report. So hopefully we have a Brandin Marshall sighting as well.
Brandin Marshall, man, hopefully we can get to him, bro, because I'd like to see what he can do. We signed about a month ago, and he still ain't played. And I'm thinking he might have fell in the hole some damn well. But anyway, this episode of Sports Coma Live, 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 we're going to issue out our number in the second segment. So, guys, y'all can chime in. You can talk to us. Y'all can ask questions, whatever. We're kicking it with our family here before the game. We're coming at y'all a little late, man, because of the technical difficulties. But nonetheless, we are in the building. Thank you, guys, for joining us. Now, let's get into some of this news. Of course, the Saints getting ready to take on those hated Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's something, we get a little revenge from that first week loss when we lost to them the way we did. Hopefully, which I ain't going to say hopefully, I know for a fact that we're going to make some stuff happen here in the Saints Nation by knocking off these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going up there. It's going to be a difficult, I ain't going to say difficult game, but anytime you go to another person's building, especially with Tampa Bay being that they know us so well, we're going to have some issues, We never know what they're going to bring to the table. We know what we're going to bring to the table. We know we out there, we're going to probably be playing on a sloppy field. I knew about some of the weather conditions. I seen a weather report earlier dealing with some of the weather out there. But, that's not going to stop us from stumping a hole in Tampa Bay's, what. I'm just going to tell you the truth here. Now, of course, they're talking about Jameis Winston is supposed to get a little burn in this one. But let's go back to that first matchup. Saints lost it 48-40 in the first match in week 1, which inspired us to have that tremendous 10-game win, that 10-game run in which we was waxing everybody, man. We got peeved and we decided to take it to everybody until we had a little hang up against the Cowboys when everybody was saying, oh, my goodness, the Saints were exposed by the Cowboys 13-10. So picture that. But this matchup, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they stink. They've stunk all year long behind Jameis Winston. But you look at the team, they're sitting at 5-7, 5-7 in the South. The Saints are 10-2, of course, today with a win. They clinch and they move forward. The Saints, of course, coming off that stupid loss to the Cowboys when they got help from everybody who wasn't wearing the Saints jersey. But in this one, Saints coming into this matchup averaging 35 points a game while giving up 22 points a game. Tampa Bay 26.5 a game, giving up 29.5. That's why they stink so bad. Total yards offense for the Saints, 4.5 total. Through the air, 277. On the ground, 127. Tampa Bay's 457 total yards, 359 of it through the air, and they run about 98 yards a game. Now, defensively, the Saints hold people to 374 yards a game. That's allowing you could throw on the Saints 298 yards through the air, but the Saints are a league best in stopping you 75.5 yards a game, stopping you from running the ball, literally making you one-dimensional. For the Buccaneers, 413 yards a game. The defense allowed 292 of it through their secondary, and they allow you to run a gross 121 yards on you. Of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a 2-game winning streak now. They were able to beat the 49ers 27-9. They beat Carolina also 24-17. Of course, the Saints coming off a loss 13-10 to the Buccaneers. DC already said only one person missing on our injury report. That's Terron Armstead, which is a big loss no matter how you discount it or how you count it, whatever. That's a huge loss for that side of the line. We're going to be counting on Bushrod to step it up this game against them. And listen, this Tampa Bay's defensive line is damn good. You know, this is a good line. JPP and a few other really good pass rushers are on this line. So Bushrod will have to step his game up this performance to kind of help Drew stay clean. DC, what's your prediction on the game?
I think the Saints are going to take this game, but I got to disagree with you on it being an easy game. I think it's going to be a tough game. Tampa Bay is 5-7 right now. That might not sound like much to us because we 10-2, but they are still in the playoff hunt. I mean, Seattle is only 6-6 or something like that, 6-5 maybe. I don't know if they still got a bye week, but Tampa Bay is still technically in the hunt. That is our rival, so even if they weren't, they would love to take us down a notch. And I think with the combination of that, and then also you got to understand Tampa Bay has the number one passing offense in the whole league. I mean, they ain't got much on the ground. They probably like 29th, I think, on the ground. But they are number one in third down conversion rate. Number one, man. I mean, you got the Rams, you got us, you got the Chiefs. They better than all of us in converting on third down. I don't think you can just throw that out the window and look at that like it ain't nothing. So as good as our defense have been playing, we've actually been the best defense in the whole league in a lot of categories since week 10. Before that, we had a little bit of a rocky start. And like you said, Demario Davis was always solid. And he's a guy that contributed to the turnaround as well as to keeping us afloat the whole time. And I think he definitely deserves a Pro Bowl bid because without him, our defense wouldn't be what it is. But Tampa Bay also has a good defense as well since they went ahead and fired Mike Smith. And they replaced him with the linebacking coach, Mark Duffner. And since they did that, they second in the league in sacks. They third in third down percentage. And they 10th in holding people in pass yards per game. So Jason Pierre-Paul, Vinny Curry, Jerome McCoy, and I know I'm missing a guy on that front line. They got a very solid front line, man. And we talked about the pressure that Dallas put up. In my opinion, I think this is a better front line than Dallas. Maybe not a better total defense. So Drew Brees going to have to bring his A game, which I can't see him having 2 back-to-back performances the way he did against Dallas. But that's enough about Tampa Bay. But that's just the obstacles that we facing. The Saints are a team that's fired up right now, man. You got a guy like Alvin Kamara who didn't look like himself, who's 260-some yards away from having his first 1,000-yard rushing season. I'm sure he's going to be fired up to get on the right track today. Michael Thomas has been very vocal on social media as late. A little braggadocious sometimes, but he has enough humbleness to balance it out. I like the way he does it. But he didn't have a very good game against Dallas. And a lot of people on Twitter have been coming at him, giving him flack for that. You got to understand Michael Thomas had 180 yards last time they went up against Tampa Bay. I know they got a good pass line and everything, like I said, but these guys, the Saints, man, they going to come ready to play today. Our offensive line had a horrible showing last week. And what other way to back up what you did last week to put a dent in what's been a surging team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They've been playing people pretty tough. Since Jameis Winston came back, they haven't been turning the ball over. So we're going to have a tough task on our hands to force him back into the old play years. I think we can because we usually play very well against Jameis Winston. If I was Tampa Bay, I'd put Ryan Fitzpatrick out there against the Saints and then play Jameis the rest of the way. Because for whatever reason, we seem to mess his game up. I only remember one game in primetime on Thursday night when Jameis Winston pretty much gave it to us. But other than that, man, we pretty much dominate him. So we got that going in our favor. And we're still chasing the elusive number one home field advantage. So the Chiefs can definitely lose out. They play a few tough teams. They still face the Bears. There's a team that can put a loss on their record, and if we're able to close out, then we number one. So the Saints still have a lot to play for. I'm sure Demario Davis got a lot to play for. I'm sure he's ticked. Everybody's talking about Pro Bowl bids, and he ain't being mentioned. So I see a very fired-up team against the Saints, but I also see a fired-up team in Tampa Bay. So this game may simulate a little bit of a lightweight playoff atmosphere. I think it's going to be a very good game. Definitely not low-scoring, but I don't see us totally just dismantling the Bucs. But I do believe we win by at least 15 to 14 points.
15 points, DC. That's pretty interesting, man. Let me hit on with some of these stats here I got on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, to be honest with you. Tampa Bay's quarterback, I know it's going to be Jameis Winston, but their top quarterback as it stands is Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, of course, we're hearing that it's more than likely going to be Winston that's going to play in this game, so the Saints preparing for Winston. Now, Winston's, like I said, the top passer for them is Fitzpatrick, 164 for 246, 2366 on the yard, 17 touchdowns, 12 picks. Top runner for them is Peyton Barber, 169 for 635 and 4 touchdowns. That guy is a sneaky good running back. Then, of course, it's Evans. This dude is their version of, I guess, Mike Thomas. He's a terrific target. 66 catches, 1,121 total yards, receiving yards, that is, and 5 touchdowns. Our boys, Breeze, 290 of 384, 32-62 on the yards, 30 touchdowns, and 3 picks, two of which shouldn't even count it. 2. But 3 interceptions, man. Elvin Kamara, 161, carrying the ball, 742 yards, 11 touchdowns, rushing, pretty damn good. And, of course, the all-powerful, all-world Mike Thomas, Iron Mike Thomas, 91 receptions, 1120, and 8 touchdowns for Iron Mike Thomas. This is going to be a good game. Of course, like I said, it's going to be a sloppy feel out there by some of what the weather reports that we're indicating for a 12 o'clock kickoff. But like I said, let's stop, pause for a second. I just want to give a shout out to everybody out there in the Sports Coma Nation. We're doing our Sports Coma live with Big Q and the guys. The second segment, we're going to hand out the number so you guys can chime in. You can talk, and y'all guys give y'all takes on the game. Tell us what you think is going to happen. Tell us if you have any concerns about today's game. Do you feel like it's a situation where the Saints might lose, or who do you think going to shine out? This is your opportunity, man, to share with the boys. Let us know what you think. Going into our next topic here, DC, we hit on the injury report. Do the injury report again for the fam. We got some new people chiming in. Run over that injury report, if you please, and let the fam know who we have for us and who we need to be concerned about as far as Tampa Bay concerned. I know they could have an all-world team. The way the Saints should come off from this Dallas matchup, Tampa Bay in trouble here, man. Tampa Bay in trouble, especially they snuck in that first loss, that first win against us, 48-40 in the first week of the season. Now this time around, man, we're going to get some revenge here, man. We're going to handle some business against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I would be totally shocked if the Tampa Bay – could you picture that, Sports Coma land? Could you picture that, Who Dat Nation, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sweep the Saints? And I just can't fathom it, man. That's like – I just can't – I can't put that in my head. But anyway, what you got on the injury report there, DC?
Like I said, man, for the injury report earlier – it's pretty much nothing to report for the Saints. We all in the green, man. We had a lot of guys with little nagging issues throughout the week. Michael Thomas, I know you heard he had an ankle. Armstead's shoulder was acting up. David Oyamada had a hip issue. Zach Line had a concussion. But all of those guys pretty much practiced Wednesday, and limited, a lot of them were. Tyron Armstead was even practicing. Michael Thomas didn't practice Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday he had a full practice, and everybody had pretty much full practice on Friday, and Tyron Armstead didn't suit up, and they counted him out in the game, and everybody else is here. So we are healthy. You know, we don't have any issues, but Tampa Bay has a few things going on, like Deshaun Jackson. We don't have to deal with that monster. So that was a guy that really torched us in that 40 to 48 victory, 43-48.
40.
Yeah, Tyron Armstead gave us problems, so we don't have to deal with him. Jason Pierre-Paul is questionable. MJ Stewart is questionable. Brent Grimes is questionable. Justin Evans is out. Colton Davis is doubtful. Demir Dotson is questionable. So, you know, Isaiah Johnson is also out for Tampa Bay. So they're going through it on the injury side of things, but we definitely are healthy right now and looking to go handle business, as you stated, Big Q, because it's a lot on stake for both teams.
Appreciate that injury report, that DC. And Big, I want to give a shout out to Pain Music Inc., man, for, you know, giving us a thumbs up, the arm, and a 100 sign. I see you, my man, Pain Music Inc. Like I said, all our fantastic people out there, in the second segment, we'll hand out this number. You can call in live. We can, you know, and we can have a discussion about the Saints, and we can, you know, talk about what's going to go on in this game. Now, I'm going to give my prediction on the game. DC did his, and then we're going to hit another topic or two, and then we're going to kind of slide out into our first commercial. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers situation, there's no way humanly possible that the Saints is going to lose this game. I don't care if you took all the world's oceans and dumped them on Tampa Bay's field this Sunday. The Saints are going to find a way to get it done, man. I don't care under what conditions that you can have fire rocks raining from the sky. The Saints are still going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because obviously, say, well, anything could happen in the NFL. That's true. Anything could happen. Anything could happen, but not today. Saints going to get this win coming off that, I ain't going to say a shellacking, but that embarrassing 13-10 loss. And then you got to hear all these commentators running around talking about, oh, they exposed the Saints. Oh, they showed the NFL how to beat the Saints. All this nonsense I had to deal with over the last several days, man. Absolutely nonsense. So the Saints have to come out and rebound, and the right opponent is Tampa Bay, because we can repay them for that loss that we got at the first game of the season. We're going to come into this one, we're going to knock them out of here. Now, I think they're going to blow the doors off them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. So I'm going to say this will be my call, and of course you guys can chime in and tell me what you think. I will give the game, I will say the Saints come up with the win 31, you hear me? 31-21. That's my call on this game. Saints get it done 31-21 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They get back. They're going to clinch with the win against Tampa Bay and move ahead. So wonderful and beautiful things are going to happen today for the Saints moving forward. They're going to build upon this one. And, of course, we got a handful of other games that's coming up that we need to take care of. But we ain't worrying about no Tampa Bay Buccaneers this Sunday. Let's get that straight. Anyway, let's move to the next topic. Jaylen Smith, man. Remember we talked about this on the last show. Jaylen Smith is a guy that the Saints had. We played against these stinking Cowboys, and of course Jaylen Smith turned around, leaps up. According to what he said, Alvin Kamara dipped down and he turned and hit him in the helmet. It wasn't an helmet. He also said that he was going to appeal the decision. Listen, man, you guys seen the play. There were two helmet-to-helmet calls that should have been made. Remember, the first one was on the goal line with Dan Arnold. Drew made the throw. Dan Arnold he was running down the field. He got right up to the 1 yard line, and I forgot who it was. One of the Dallas Cowboys safeties hit him helmet to helmet, no call. Remember, he fumbled the ball through the end zone. Remember that? The second one was Alvin Kamara. Jaylen Smith leaped in the air, left his feet, and literally made direct contact, helmet to helmet, with Alvin Kamara, knocking him out of the game. They took him out immediately from that. No call. But this is the NFL. 4 or 5 days later, they made the fine Saturday. They said, okay, well, we're going to fine them 56 G's because it was a helmet to helmet. We talked about that from the prior show, family. Remember what we said about the NFL super late and doing these fines, and it has absolutely no impact on the game. Listen, if it was done correctly like it was supposed to, but we know there was some funny business going on. If it was done correctly, that was a third down play in which he hit Elvin Kamara helmet to helmet. That's a 15-yard penalty. And if he was thrown out of the game for targeting, because he could have been thrown out of the game for targeting, they would have lost him. Imagine his impact not there to chase sideline to sideline. And, of course, the 15-yard penalty would have given the Saints a first down. Would have ultimately they've marched to score a touchdown, perhaps another field goal. I know that's woulda, shoulda, coulda. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that is something to take into consideration because of these stupid 9 penalties in the game. If you're not going to call it during the game, then don't fine the damn guy after the game. It don't matter because you're admitting guilt, and that means you're making mistakes. That does not help us here. It doesn't help us. It's garbage. And that's the kind of crap that I don't like that the officials do. DC, what you thought about? What's your thoughts on that silly NFL fine of 56 G's? Oh yeah, by the way, Jaylen Smith did say he was going to appeal that because
Jaylen Smith obviously was briefed by the same people who fined him. Because I mean, how could you not think you hit him helmet to helmet? Boy, all your ears was ringing. Stop lying. But I think they just trying to save face at this point. It was so many people. Saints fans are very vocal, and a lot of people, not just us here at the Sports Coma. A lot of people talked about that horribly officiated game, except for all the famous commentators, like on major sports networks. They didn't say anything. But the fans all talked about it. The comment sections in everywhere were lighting up. So the NFL had to save face, man. They had to go, fine them. Yeah, we kind of messed up a little bit. Then Jaylen Smith going on this whole charade. It wasn't a fine. They didn't call it in the game. And all that crap, man. They just trying to save face at this moment to let people know that, yeah, we hear y'all. And we kind of missed that one. But it was close. Just this whole thing, man. I mean, it was an undeniable call. I mean, if you want to make a video for helmet to helmet, because I was a person that was against the rule in the beginning. But even the 2005 NFL, if I would have seen a hit like that where somebody just hit the man in the head with their helmet, I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy. But that would be the example. That play right there could be looked at as the prime example. Hey, look, this is exactly what we don't want you to do. This will get you ejected. Like Deion Jones, as I commented on the show, did a similar thing. He was basically headhunting Alvin Kamara because Deion Jones did it to him when he was a rookie, and that put him out the game. So I think Jaylen Smith was pretty much going for the same reaction. That he probably thought he was going to get ejected, but he was like, oh well, as long as I get a concussion on Kamara, it'll be worth it. Didn't quite work out like that. Kamara didn't have a concussion and he didn't get ejected, but it's pretty much the same play to me. And it's probably the most vicious a helmet to helmet can be. And the one on Dan Arnold was, very blatant as well. I mean, the man fumbled. He didn't fumble the ball into the end zone, no, my brother Big Q. He actually fumbled it backwards, and Michael Thomas picked it up. And then they were trying to say it wasn't a catch. And Sean Payton was trying to – I challenged it. I don't remember if he did or if he tried, because they actually gained yards even, with the fumble. But anyway, it definitely stalled our drive. And it was a blatant helmet to helmet. And if that guy wouldn't have got hit in the helmet, Dan Arnold had that catch and would have possibly been pulling the defender into the end zone. So, tomato, man. You can't cry over spilled milk. But I just hate the whole fine thing. Not because, a player shouldn't get fined. It's just like leaves such a bad taste in your mouth. It just validates what you already knew. As if we needed any validation. It was like, why didn't you call it in the game? It's so obvious for you to get fined or find it after the game, but you couldn't see it during the game when it was obvious to everybody else. Anybody who at least cared about the Saints at all. And then you go and you find a guy like Marshawn Lynch for putting money into a donation bucket. It's a Salvation Army donation bucket. Like, come on. What is so disrespectful about he put his jersey numbers, amount of money, the same way his Ohio State comrade Ezekiel Elliott did, which I thought was a very creative celebration. And Zeke won another game. He put Dak Prescott in the bucket. They find him for that. I don't understand. I thought they changed the rules on celebrations and players were allowed to celebrate. So, okay, if the team would have huddled around the bucket and all put money in there, then they wouldn't have fined anybody? Because they seem to be lenient on team celebrations. I guess you just can't do anything individually. I don't know. So, to me, this whole fining thing it's all nonsense, man. And I really would love when the NFL gets away from hypocrisy and all these politics. But we know that ain't going to happen no time soon. That's why y'all here. And that's why we talking.
That's right, DC. Sports Coma question of the day. We're going to hit the people with Sports Coma question of the game day. Will New Orleans bounce back after the loss to Dallas? Y'all tell us. You heard what I said. You heard what DC said. What's your thoughts on it? What do you think? Do you think the Saints going to bounce back after a loss to Dallas, or perhaps they got some great minds out there that probably foresee something else? We'll love to hear from it. That's the Sports Coma question of the day. Going into our next segment of the show in just a minute. We're going to play, before we go into that, we're going to play a few interviews. We got some interviews coming up from Sean Payton, Drew Brees, and Cam Jordan. We're going to hit you with Sean Payton first, and we're going to slide off into our first commercial break. And also, we're going to share with you, before we go into that commercial break, the phone number for you to call us live here on the Sports Coma. So let's get into this Sean Payton. Here's Coach Payton's thoughts. He's talking about the week coming up against Tampa Bay and what we got to do. Here's Coach Payton.
Listen, he's always been, someone that has good football instincts and good ball skills. He's healthy and with as much three receiver sets, we're in nickel more than we are in base. So, he's playing a lot of snaps and playing well.
You going to do any pedicure promises if they have to weather long spikes again?
No, listen, weather's going to be an issue. It's not 80% or 70%. It's 100% chance of rain. And so the footing will be important and the shoes will be important. All of that comes into play relative to windy, wet conditions. And, we'll have to adjust quickly.
Do you think about how that affects the kicking game and stuff?
It affects the whole game. Yeah, it affects the whole game. There's a pretty common wind direction at that stadium. It usually blows from their locker room to the ship, on an angle. But again, I'm sure that can change.
John, do you have some kind of research to know that, or you just know about the wind and all that?
Well,
how do you know all that?
We know it, and we talk about it. Every staff meeting we start at night was, what's our weather the next day? What's the game day weather update? And then when you watch the film, you can see that kickoffs are getting touched back more to one end zone than the other. And after a while, and being in the division, you begin to understand at least what the norm is. Now, a front could come in and that could change it. But that's typically which way it's going.
Does that affect your script?
The weather or the wind? Yeah, the wind can, but certainly the weather does. And you might not do this. I'll do the script probably Saturday night. Yeah. And then if this has happened before. We had a half an hour rain delay there one year. I can't recall. We went in for a half an hour, thunder and lightning, came out, warmed up again, and continued playing. And so you're preparing for all of that.
Do you do the script a little bit later when the weather's kind of
and you may shorten the script. But if you know it's going to be raining, it certainly changes kind of what you're thinking about.
So when the team's putting together a season like this, is there ever just any understanding that there's maybe going to be more interest in your assistants for open positions across the league?
Yeah, I think I've always said this before. We've got a number of guys, Doug Marrone, Dennis has been a head coach, CJ and Aaron Cromer is now with the Rams. And I think that's a positive thing. I think that when no one's asking, then that's a little bit more of a concern.
I was scouting Keith Kirkwood. What do you remember saying about it?
It's a good question. I know he's at Temple. I remember the Reed And then post-draft, he was one that we were on the phone with. You know, he had a handful of teams. So sometimes you're dealing with a player that's calling you. He was one that, you know, we had to recruit, and it was a good sign for us.
What has been different maybe than you expected?
Well, he's smart, he's long, and can run. You know, he can pick things up very quickly. He can play at any one of the spots, and you know, I think that helps him a lot.
You attribute the success of your defense in the last 4 weeks compared to the first
Well,
game of the
look,
season?
You know, it's a combination of a number of things. I feel like our third down numbers are better. We're getting to the quarterback more. Obviously, we've been able to take the ball away more. It's hard to point to one specific thing, but it's a credit to, you know, the group in general. And look, the coverage gets a little better if the quarterback's got to throw it a little quicker. You know, hopefully we're playing a complementary game where we're possessing the ball. Last week was the first time in a while where we didn't win the time of possession, and that's been something that we have been able to do, and that'll be important in this game.
Shall we say Demario what he does on the field, but what has he kind of brought to the locker room?
A good leader, smart, someone that good teammate. You know, a lot of the things that we had heard, and he's passionate. You know, I think every year your team's different. It's made up of different players, and he's been obviously a good addition.
Perfect.
That's right, y'all. We coming back. 504-475-4482. Call-in number. Y'all can holler at us on the other side of the break. We're going to hit some topics. We got some more interviews to play. But once we get that done, that number, you can call in 504-475-4482. We'll repeat it on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q. Talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Box, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Postgame Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics. And autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000. Celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma live. That's right, live on the Coma. We back up in here. Man, listen here, man. We got some good topics to talk about, but I'm super excited, man, because I get to do this thing here live and talk on by the way, live on game day. I mean, what better place? Where would you want to be, man? This is just tremendous to me. But anyway, to get back into it, man, we got some more topics we're going to hit. We got a few more things to talk about. We're going to talk about Jamal Adams, what he was saying about the Saints. Let them have their celebration. We know this is a copycat league. They copy everything. Come on, man. Y'all have a little originality. You know, I've seen the Jets, and not the Jets, but a few other teams. I don't want to mention their names, but they'll get an interception and all run to the end zone and then pose for pitches. I'm like, how you just gonna do it like that? How you just gonna steal our team celebration like that, man? We originated that. But of course they do that with a lot of other things, no originality. But Jamal Adams was one of the first to come out and say, man, let the Saints have let them have that. Let them have it, man. And Jamal, of course, you know, he's a LSU man. You know, we love our Tigers down here. And he's just speaking the truth, man, about that. And I would say big ups to Jamal Adams for telling the truth about that, man, because this is a copycat league. And stop all that biting, please. Y'all get y'all own stuff. I seen a couple of them the Steelers did where the dude was conducting the orchestra. That was unique. They had one where I think it was Tampa.
The Steelers have a lot of unique ones. I like what's that little receiver, man? He comes up with some unique stuff. He's a pretty funny dude.
They got one that Tampa Bay was doing, or one of the teams, y'all correct me, where the guy lifted the running back up and they did the lumbar.
The Vikings, the Vikings. Cook was going under the lumbar, and they had Thielen as the ball.
That was pretty funny, man. I actually enjoyed that one, man.
Unique, man.
That's unique. Do that kind of stuff, man. Don't be coming up here trying to steal all our stuff. But anyway, before we get into it, let me give y'all a call-in number once again. 504-475-4482. You can call in. You can holler at the crew. Questions, thoughts on the Tampa Bay Saints matchup, who you think going to win. You can answer the Sports Coma question today. Will the Saints bounce back in this thing? Y'all tell us. Y'all let us know what y'all think. You can also send questions to the Sports Coma at Twitter. You know what I'm saying? You can shoot the comments. You can either comment at our YouTube page, too, and we'll get to your comments. We're going to read replies from the last show, by the way, on this live Sports Coma Game Day edition. Now, DC, going into the next topic, we're talking about Brandin Marshall here, man. It's been about a month since they signed him?
Yeah, been about 3 weeks, going into 4 weeks.
Yeah. Been about almost a month, if not a month, and we've yet to see Brandin Marshall touch the field. We covered last show that he was DMP'd basically by the Saints with personal issues. You got any information you want to brief the people with about Mr. Brandin missing in action, Marshall?
Yeah, Brandin and Peyton, they're both saying pretty much the same thing. So whatever the timeline is and what needs to be done, they're pretty much on the same timeline. Basically, Brandin Marshall is saying you have to learn everything in the Saints offense. We pride ourselves on being versatile and every receiver being able to do multiple things, even if it's not what their skill set excels at. You still need to be able to do those things. Know where your brother should line up, what's supposed to go on, and know who's doing what on every play. So they're basically saying once they feel that he's learned enough and he's showing that he knows enough, he's sure he'll contribute and get on the field. And as I said today, this is the first week since we had him that I don't remember seeing Mr. Marshall on the injury report for a coach's decision. So I believe that week and that time can be today. So we very likely will probably see Brandin Marshall, Keith Kirkwood, Michael Thomas, and our rookie, up and down, sometimes phenomenal, sometimes invisible, Traquan Smith. Those four guys will probably be out there today with a sprinkle of Austin Carr and Tommy Lee Lewis. Or maybe just Tommy Lee Lewis. Who knows who's going to be inactive? You won't know that till game time. So I'm looking forward to seeing Marshall, man. He's going to be a big end zone target. I mean, think about it. The Dallas games, how many times did we get down into maybe the 40 or the 30 and we just kind of stalled out? We went for it on fourth down. If we had a guy like Brandin Marshall and Michael Thomas, would we have tried to run the draw play with Kamara that was ineffective on fourth down? Would we have completed our third down? Would we have not looked to put so much pressure on a rookie in a very key moment of the game in which we was behind and playing sloppily to try and get a touchdown with a Traquan Smith drop? So who knows? But I know we should see Brandin Marshall on the field a lot sooner than later, hopefully today.
I don't even know if he's activated. Is he activated? I'm not from.
It's not on the injury report. You won't know who's activated until game time because they can activate a person, I think, all the way up to game time. So
all right.
You really don't know.
All right, good information there, DC. Thank you. Before we get into the rest of our comments, remember the Sports Coma question of game day is: will New Orleans bounce back after a loss to Dallas? Y'all chime in, let us know. You can tweet it to us at our Sports Coma at Twitter, the Sports Coma at Twitter. Of course, you can comment on YouTube as well. You know the Sports Coma page on YouTube. You can comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think. We'll read it on the air. Also, the call-in number for the show, 5004. I'm going to say 504-475-4482. That's the live number. You can reach us here. And, of course, right before We about to give you a little bit of Drew Brees, but before then, let DC wants to give a little more information. Here you go.
I went to a trusted source I have that shows inactives, but again, this I've seen it change before. They will say they're inactive, and then come game time, they're active. I think coaches do this a lot of times to fake out the other team. So I wouldn't say to count it as etched in stone. But our inactives for today are Mitchell Lowen. We have Trey Hendrickson, Matt Taiteo. You already know about Tyron Armstead. Will Clapp is also inactive. Dan Arnold is inactive as of right now. And Brandin Marshall. Now, this is based on probably about 30 minutes to an hour ago. So things may have changed, maybe not.
All right, well, that's it on that information. Let's hear Drew Brees, his thoughts on upcoming matchup against Tampa Bay.
Drew, how did you evaluate your performance against the Cowboys?
Well, it was – listen, it was there was a lot more to be desired there. You turn on the film and just play after play where, it felt like there were opportunities or just better execution, that would have, gotten us some first downs, maintained or sustained some drives and gone down and gotten points. So I think we left a lot of opportunities out there. We left a lot of points out there. And listen, they played well, but I'm more worried about our execution. Our execution was certainly not up to our standards. So that part of it was frustrating.
And so what do you have to do to bounce back this week?
Just focus on the details. Focus on the little things. Back to work, back to the details, back to our routine. Finally we get a normal week, after a while. A couple extra days of rest, I think that was helpful for a lot of guys. So I'm ready to get back to work.
How does this Tampa Bay team look different from the one you played in week 1?
They obviously new defensive coordinator. So I'd say, for the most part, the scheme is the same, and yet, maybe they're doing some things a little bit differently. And obviously, there's always a game plan specific, thing when it comes to us or any opponent, any divisional opponent especially. They've had a lot of personnel, in and out just with injuries and that kind of thing, linebacker position, secondary. But I think those guys are playing really well right now. Last 2 weeks especially, been getting a bunch of takeaways. They do a really good job getting pressure with their front four. That's always been a strength of that team and continues to be. So they're playing really well right now.
Not that anyone here had a big head or anything like that, but could that loss in Dallas refocus people and kind of focus things and galvanize the little things a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you have to, lose a battle to win the war. You learn a lot from something like that. I don't think we were getting ahead of ourselves or anything like that. I just think we just had a bad day. And so you turn on the film and it's glaringly obvious what we, where we failed, and make sure that doesn't happen again.
Drew, could you talk about the back-to-back division, that championship that you guys could achieve here this weekend?
Yeah.
It's something rare in the NFC South, but it's
Yeah.
a chance for you all here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Bottom line is we control our destiny right now, and we win this game, we win the division, and that's the first step. First goal that we set for ourselves this season was to accomplish that, and then we'll worry about the next goal. But yeah, that's significant. Like you said, this division has been one where it's highly competitive, and each and every year it seems like there's a different team or sets of teams that are all fighting for it at the end, and then one of us gets it. But yeah, that'd be a big first step is win the division with the win this week.
What do you think it says about the team that you have a chance to clinch that at this point in the season?
Well, it says a lot about our early, our success and that 10-game, win streak, that run. Man, that was a great run. I think we gained a ton of confidence, a ton of momentum. We had a ton of guys step up and play really well, guys that we're going to need down the stretch. I think we really established an identity for ourselves as an offense and a defense. And so, listen, we know how to play winning football, but you got to prove that each and every week. You got to go out there against. Divisional opponents, non-divisional opponents, home, away. I mean, you gotta find ways to win these games, and at this point in the season, especially, man, everybody's fighting for something.
Drew, you guys had brought in Des Bryant and then Brandin Marshall, but
yeah.
you've mostly been rolling with the young guys.
Yeah.
In particular, I guess Keith Kirkwood came up right after Cameron Meredith went on IR. Those guys just developed your trust, and you're able to win.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're building it every week with practice time, and obviously with the young guys. We didn't have necessarily all the benefits of the off season. I mean, that's when a lot of time with Mike and Ted Ginn and some of these other guys, and all of a sudden these young guys step up and they're playing. They have significant playing time. So yeah, every week. It's just kind of trying to focus on new things. Obviously, very game plan specific. Hey, this is what we're doing this week, man. Let's work on this stuff in practice, but developing that trust and confidence and chemistry.
I don't remember.
That's Drew Brees, man, breaking down his thoughts on the upcoming game. Of course, he had a lot of thoughts. He covered a bevy of topics, especially dealing with the lights of the wide receivers, Marshall and Keith Kirkwood, and of course the trust thing of dealing with Kirkwood. I think it's tremendous. Anytime you pull a guy off the practice squad. Of course, you have Des Bryant, they sign him. And, and it I had to scratch my head sometimes because, during the season we had the injuries to Ted Ginn Jr. And, of course, behind him you didn't have any established wide receivers. We had a bunch of undrafted guys that were eager to prove themselves. We had guys like Austin Carr. We had, Traquan Smith, basically he's a rookie. Then you have Keith Kirkwood wasn't even active. He was on the practice squad. And ultimately they signed Des. Des gets hurt in a freak accident in the practice, at the end of practice, by the way. Ultimately, what ended up happening, they brought in Brandin Marshall. And, of course, Marshall's been shelved, still learning whatever he needs to learn. It's pretty peculiar. I've never seen the Saints do that. Usually when they bring in a wide receiver or a player like that, that's supposed to have that amount of experience, years. This guy's a former Pro Bowl. He played at Pro Bowl. He played at a high level for many years. So I'm thinking you bring him in, he knows he's familiar with some of your concepts because he came from a team that was using similar concepts to your offense. So what's the issue there? Why isn't he getting any more press? Why is he not getting on and getting in the game like we think he's supposed to get? Very interesting, man. Anyway, let's move into the next comment, the next interview from Cam Jordan. Here's Cam, the leader of the Saints defense, talking about what needs to happen. Here is Mr. Cam Jordan for you.
I know it's not the ultimate goal for the team, but what does it say about just having a chance to clinch this division for the second straight year, and what it says, especially how difficult this division is?
We're worried about that when we take care of business. Honestly, we can't. We can't count our horses before the pulls the cart. Here we go. There's some about chicken, some about some feed. No, but honestly, we're just focused on this game. We're focused on trying to contain Jameis. He looks like he's extending the pocket, extending the play, and actually producing real results. This is something that we have to be aware of.
Has he been playing better since coming in for Fitzpatrick for the second time?
I don't know how to word that, but you see the last couple games, he's extending plays and he's making big ones. It's causing problems for defenses. It's something that we are aware of and have to pay close attention to.
Does he look like he's protecting it better because he's been a guy who has been a little turnover prone during his career?
I mean, we talk about just that, what they're doing in the red zone, how they're not forcing those turnovers, and now they're creating points on board. Those are the difference makers. I'd love for him to, continue to make turnovers or make errant throws, but he's not doing that. He's getting real precise in the red zone.
How different is this defense?
Bless you. Appreciate it, 93.
How different are you guys now from the season opener? I mean, it seems like light years difference.
Yeah, from then to now, you'd hope you continue growing. And so, what is it, game 13, 14 weeks out? Really, 17 weeks out if you count preseason? We're just trying to string along as best we can, the best defense that we can. I think we're headed in the right direction still.
Is it the defensive front, the front seven? You guys were able to create 20 sacks and force 11 turnovers these last 4 weeks.
Can I get a hot tub? I mean, that takes all 11, right? That's not the defense front seven. For us to have games like we've strung together, you hope your defensive efforts don't go unnoticed, but at the same time, there's still room we can improve upon. There was a screen last game that ended up in a touchdown that we have to improve upon that. It's all about training the eyes, training the mind, and getting the body right for this next upcoming match.
That's Cam Jordan, everybody, chiming on his thoughts on the upcoming matchup there. Giving you a little information on this Tampa Bay matchup. All-time series between the Saints and the Bucs. The Saints lead the Bucs 32-21 all-time. The Bucs are 9-14 at home. and 12-18 on the road. The longest winning streak, New Orleans won 7 in a row back in the years of 2011 to 2014. The largest victory there was Tampa Bay was a shutout by the score of 41-0 back in 2012. And then 2018 offensive defensive rankings, Tampa Bay is still the top offense in the it's 2000 offensive, saying Tampa Bay is still the top offense in the league, first in the pass, 26 in the run, and still sits at 27th in total defense, 28th against the pass, 21st against the run. New Orleans, of course, leads the league's 6th best offense, 12th with the pass, 9th against run, and 16th best defense, 30th against the pass, 1st against the run. A little information on the Saints. I want to say a few things here. DC, I want to change my original score. I had some opportunity. I was sitting here thinking. I said, man, you know what? I'm going to change the score on this game. I know I put it way up there.
I never even gave my original score.
31 to 21. I put it in there. I was like, you know what? I'm going to back down off of that. I'm going to say 27-21. That's what the score is going to be. I changed it 27-21. Just epiphany came to me. Said, you know what? I think it's going to be close to that 27-21. What's yours?
Mine is drastically different. I see a tough game. The score that I'm going to throw out may not indicate it, but I think you're going to have big offensive spurts. I see 42-33 for some reason. So that's mine. Weird score, weird numbers. Pool people know, like what? But I don't know, 42-33. That's just numbers I see. I see it being a high-scoring game, but also a good game and being spurts at times and it slows down, picks back up.
Well said. DC went up on his. I went down on mine, man. I'm looking at the weather and the elements, but you know, the Saints are a juggernaut on offense. It might not even matter the condition of the field. You would think that most teams would come out and run the ball with a sloppy field. The Saints are so different than they think, and they might just say, you know what, they're expecting that. We're just going to go over the top of their head as much as we can. So you never know with Sean Payton's involved. Well, the question of the day.
We know Tampa Bay going to pass the ball.
They know they ain't going to be able to run it. That's for certain. Not against our defense. But anyway, let's go. Let's hit you with the Sports Coma question today for the final time. Remember, will New Orleans bounce back after the loss? Put it on our comment section and the Sports Coma comment section. You can go to our YouTube page our Twitter page and put the answer in as well. And of course, we're going to go into our next segment. We're going to read the replies from the previous Sports Coma question today about now. And of course,
and
that
you
is
shy people. Come on, man, get over that and get on here, man. Make some calls.
Who Dat Nation? Here we go. The Sports Coma question today. Do you accept the Cowboys' explanation for the mystery man on the Saints sideline Thursday night? What do you think? And, of course, a lot of people chimed in, of course, on that comment about the explanation. Of course, to brief some of y'all that might have not heard about the fact that Dallas Cowboys had an employee within 5 to 10 feet of Sean Payton while he was making calls. He was behind him. He had a headset and a cell phone, and they gave the explanation that he was there right next to the NFL green hat so that he can notify them during timeouts dealing with the commercials. So let's move into the comment section to see what our great Sports Coma and Who Dat Nation people talked about. Now, here it is. That's the Sports Coma question today. The previous one is, do you accept the Cowboys' explanation for the mystery man on the Saints sideline Thursday night? And, of course, here are a few replies. NT Pricing chimed in and said, not buying what the Cowboys said about the mystery man. However, spy or not, it's not what cost us the game. Offense needs to be better as we can't play like this again. Big ups to Enterprising. Well said, because even if Sean Payton had been too aggressive and maybe kicked that field goal, we'd be looking at a tie game, right? So staff 411 says Saints should have went to the hurry up offense. DC, what you think?
I think that's an excellent comment, because you got to think, if we got a guy spying on the sideline behind Sean Payton, if we went to the hurry-up offense, that would have gave Drew pretty much full-out reign to make plays on the field. And some stuff might have not came in through the sideline. I think staff 411 is correct. And let's say even if, which I think they was spying on us, but let's say it's not true. Going to the hurry-up offense, the Saints offense is almost unstoppable, man. I mean, I can't see them not moving the ball and putting some points up. So excellent comment there, and I totally agree.
Next question comment, JJ Hill. JJ, he's in the building. What's up, JJ? I do not buy what the cowgirls are saying. Peyton was getting frustrated because it was like they knew what he was doing every play. I knew what Cam meant when he said you have to play by Jerry's rules. Big up to you, JJ. Appreciate the comment. Tim Russ chimes in. What's up, Tim? He says, like DC said, I don't buy from con artists. That mysterious man on the sideline was a spy for the Cowboys. It's all good, though. If that's what it takes for them to win by only 3, then that says a lot about our team. Congratulations to them on the win, but you don't have to cheat to do it, though. Big ups, Tim. Tim taking a high ground on that one. Big ups to Tim. Appreciate the comment, buddy. Audit the Fed chimes in. What's up, Audit? He says, I think the coach drew the game. He knew the team was getting a big head, including Breeze, and they played better as an underdog. He gave them a dose of reality to get them focused and hungry again. It's the best game to do this. Not too late, not too early. I hope it works. Now, of course, they had a few people, like myself that chimed in. Freddie Harris says, love the show. We're going through the same 2009 scenario. Hashtag black and gold Super Bowl. Appreciate the comment, Freddie. And, of course, I chimed in with Auden, and I mentioned that I don't think they threw the game. I just think it's one of those situations where, like we said in the previous show, you can go back and check it out, peeps. We mentioned the fact that the Saints didn't do that 3 tight end alignment to help him run the ball. Taysom Hill wasn't as active in it. Elvin Kamara didn't look elusive. He looked like he was disinterested. That's just my opinion. They should have gave the ball to Mark Ingram more. It was a series of things offensively. Drew Brees was at the head of it. He said in the interview we just played about the fact that we have to play better. It starts at the quarterback. Drew Brees was absolutely awful in that game. He was throwing high and behind wide receivers before Dallas got there. He was just not good in that game. 2 touchdowns would have beaten the Cowboys in that game. He usually throws 2 touchdowns on his worst day. Couldn't get it done in that game. So, I don't think he threw it, but I appreciate the comment there, Audit. Soldier for God 77 chimes in. What's up, Soldier? Says that mystery man on the sideline behind Sean Payton, they should have called the mystery van for that guy. Scooby-Doo should have came out. or better yet, call Inspector Gadget. The mysteries of Jerry's world. That's absolutely right, Soldier for God. Appreciate the comment, my man. John Garden chimes in. He says, Peyton said we didn't do enough as a team. The Saints defense did enough, bruh. Your offense didn't do enough to win, period. And John Garden's absolutely right. He's absolutely right on that. Don't pencil in that defense, even the special teams for that matter. You better put that square on the shoulders of the offense, because all they had to do was get 2 touchdowns and they would have beat the stinking rotten Dallas Cowboys in that matchup. Soldier for God with another comment. Why is Sean Payton talking about it wasn't a good team effort? The defense played good ball. The offense played bad. I was trying to figure out why Mark wasn't running the ball more. They should have put the game in his hands and put Breeze on the back burner. Sometimes the big dogs need a break, and should have been the Mark Ingram show. Love that. Soldier for God, absolutely critical. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And like I said previously, Elvin Kamara didn't have it in that game. Before he got knocked out with the concussion, he wasn't his usual fluid, elusive self. He just didn't look right to me. Same with Drew Brees. If as a coach you see your personnel, you can see that they don't have that. They have that style of play that you usually customarily see them. Maybe you kind of deviate the game plan to go with the guy that has the burn. Mark Ingram looked pretty decent in the game when he did get an opportunity to carry a ball. I agree with you on that, but you're absolutely right. It should have been the Mark Ingram show. Sean C chimes in. What's up, Sean? He says, what up, Big Q and DC? I ain't never, my man said never, Nebba, never seen a dude on someone's sideline like that. Totally suspect. And I think it was a good loss, too. Puts the team focus back in perspective. It's hard to rattle off that many wins in the NFL. Last, what y'all think about Sean Payton waiting to use Marshall later so people can't game plan for him on his historic Super Bowl run while we trying to make? I say we see him next week or against the Panthers. A win next week gives us division, meaning this week. Thank you, Sean, for the question. I'm going to let DC reply to your question, my friend.
Hey, Sean, bro, you going to steal my commentary from earlier in the live show like that, man? People are going to think I read your thing and said what I said, because that's exactly what I said. But I don't remember if I said it on live. Maybe I told Big Q in our post pre-production meeting. I don't remember. But I said the same thing. But I was more focused on the playoffs. I mean, let's be honest. At 10-2, even if we lose out, we're still in the playoffs, which I don't see the Saints doing that. But Brandin Marshall would be a lot more valuable in a playoff scenario than just to try and beat the garbage Panthers. The Panthers are a team that, to me, they're not as advertised. Good rushing team with a number one rushing defense. Their passing acumen is erratic at best. So I don't think we're going to have a problem beating the Panthers once, but twice may be a feat. But, I mean, we beat them 3 times last year, so I don't think you need to roll Brandin Marshall out for the Panthers. But the playoffs, my brother, you might be on to something.
Thank you for the comment, Sean. Appreciate you. My brother Audit the Fed, once again, he got a question of the day. He said, answering, sure, I believe Dallas and anything that the television tells me. Whatever the television or social media says I do, I am a proud, dumbed-down American. That is Audit the Fed. Big ups to Audit. Appreciate the satire there, brother. Hemisphere is in the building. Hemisphere says this game, and Hemisphere got a essay here. I'm going to try to get through as much of it as I can, Hemisphere. Big ups to you anyway. This game upset me to no end just because every so-called expert has blew this game up to 20 points. Next thing I hear is Dallas exposed the Saints offense, not to make excuses, but let me point out, we have seen the Saints win a Thursday. When have we seen the Saints win a Thursday road game? Both recent games on Thursday night games, the Saints' loss was poorly called by the refs. Peyton has made it clear he don't like Thursday games because everyone is a creature of habit and it throws off players recovery and practice times. Normal week is Sunday games. You get Monday and Tuesdays off where the coaches look at film on Sunday of the Sunday matchup, win or lose. Players come back on Wednesday unless they have an injury, which they come in Mondays for treatment. Wednesdays is meetings, and each position group breaks down the film of Sunday matchup and do a self-scout on what they need to work on. They go out for a practice, talk to medias afterward, which is required by the league for all teams. Thursday is the day you get film on the next opponent and the coach game plan, which is practice on the field where they work on situational football and what the team needs to get better at. Friday is goal line and third down, and Saturday is walkthrough. I did that to say this. Thursday's game, you are doing everything I just mapped out in 3 days, plus travel on Wednesday travel. Let me see. Hold up. I'm sorry. Here. Travel Wednesday with a walkthrough practice before the game. After landing at the airport, normal week, you get there on Saturday to go to the motel and have meetings on Saturday night and arrive at the stadium on Sunday. 3 games in 11 days takes a lot, and you've seen it in the matchup with the Falcons on Thursday, Thanksgiving night. Offense looked sluggish in the first half of the game. Things looked flat. The team didn't look like a fired up bunch. They came off the bus tired. Their play resembled how tired they was. In 2009, the Saints was 13-0, came to New Orleans and won the game, but the Saints end up losing out and still went on to win the Super Bowl. They will bounce back this weekend. And no, I don't believe the Cowboys exposed the Saints. The Saints lost this game because they were off their routine and everything else he said, she said. It's he said, she said. A lot of comment there. Hemisphere, man, basically gave you an entire boil down of what the team's schedule is from game to game. That was intricate. Very well said by Hemisphere. Almost like Hemisphere in the building over there. But thank you for the comment, Hemisphere. Appreciate it, my man, for the information. Very wonderful and for enlightening us, the Who Dat and the Sports Culmination with that information. Had a few other people replied to the comment made by Hemisphere. Anks Stone Johnson, big ups to him for replying, says Hemisphere, both teams played Thursday, and off day for your team is when receivers are getting open and the QB is missing them or they're dropping the ball. And off day is when the O-line is missing their assignments or straight missing blocks. Same type for the defense, but that's not what happened. Dallas D-line straight dominated the Saints O-line. Dallas corners smothered the Saints wide receivers. Dallas linebackers ran sideline to sideline, tackled everything, and put some hits out there. Go back and watch the all 22. If you're saying they played poorly and didn't get dominated, then you're not watching the tape. Give credit where credit is due. Of course, Ank Stone Johnson said, I give Dallas credit. He said they won the game, but for them to boost about exposing the Saints offense as a blueprint to beating the Saints, that's where I disagree. Did everyone on the offense have a bad game? Of course, that's the dialogue between Hemisphere and Alex Stone Johnson as they're talking about giving credit due. Listen, both those guys make great points about how well the Dallas defense played the Saints. But this exposing crap, that's garbage, man. That's absolute garbage. And that's the media pushing that nonsense. That wasn't how you expose a team beating them 13-10. I can understand if you beat them 30-10 or something like that. Then you can say, oh, man, we took them apart.
It's like saying we dominated the Ravens with that missed field goal at the end of the game. We totally dismantled the Ravens, right? Right. What was all the big commenters on that? Because at that time, I think were the Ravens undefeated, or they had like one loss, and they was the number one defense in the game, and they were gonna stop the Saints, and we beat them by like 1 point. So we clearly blew them out. I don't know why we didn't get a lot of pats on the back for that.
Saints don't get a lot of pats on the back, my friend. We know that. That's why we here to do it for
that was satire. They shouldn't have got a pat on the back for that game. But I'm just saying, if you go boost up Dallas like that, like. Why? What about all these other teams around the league? I've seen a bunch of 3-point wins. Like the Giants win and they beat the Bears in a very interesting game in overtime. Anybody saying the Giants are about to go on a 4-game winning streak and get into the playoffs? Go ahead and hype everybody up if you're gonna do it like that, man. I saw a Dallas team that was very sloppy themselves. Dallas, Dak Prescott fumbled the ball like 3 or 4 times. They didn't look all sharp and everything to me either. The linebackers were running sideline to sidelines, and the cornerbacks, in my opinion, did a great job of holding all the receivers because they knew pass interference wouldn't be called. So, tomato, man. When you know how the game gonna be called, and if the referee's gonna let you get away with stuff like that, you see a lot of games like this be low-scoring games. The only thing is, people got it out for the Saints. And, when it happens to the Saints, they lose by 3 points. Apparently, they got dominated.
Dominated. You heard me? Dominated.
The whole season is over.
Saints. We got people here that think that, man, that the Saints season over. We're going to get to them in a minute. They're going to have to explain that one to me. I ain't smart enough to get that one. John Gordon says, out of all the teams we lose to these people. I mean, I don't want to lose to anybody, but damn. And then the Cowgirls talk smack and still back it up, which was surprising. The Saints defense played out of their marbles, by the way. Me personally, I think the season is over. The Saints need home field advantage to win the Super Bowl. Ain't no way the Rams losing to Chase Daniels and the Bears. Peyton and Breeze lost this game, period. That's Mr. Garden chiming in with his extra comment there. And Sean C. I was going to comment. I think we did comment in there, but Sean C. said, I disagree. I disagree the season over, too. The Rams still got to play the Bears, and I think in Chicago, that's a tough place to play in December. Plus, Super Bowl teams are traditionally good on the road. We're 5-1 in that respect. Who that? Thank you, Sean, for commenting there as well. And, of course, and I think that's probably let me comment on that about the fact that we do have a couple of people out there that believe that the season is over with because the Saints lost to the Dallas and they're running such a tight race with the Los Angeles Rams. Head to head, we've won the matchup, but record wise, a lot of people thinking that the Saints must have home field advantage in the playoffs to get the Super Bowl.
That's not necessarily true.
A lot of people believe, of course it's not necessarily true, but a lot of sports coma and who that people out there believe that is the case. They believe
the easiest path for the Saints to the Super Bowl. I mean, I think people feel safe knowing that because if the Saints get home field advantage, the way that Saints fans are, I mean, you basically, it's almost like adding like Dez Bryant coming back or something. You're going to have a whole nother element to the game with that crowd. And going into the Dome, it is a tough place to win. So I think people see that, and that extra just put them over the top. But this is a team that in 2006, when they didn't win the Super Bowl, they pretty much went on the road all the time, and they got all the way to the NFC Championship game and lost to the Bears. But the whole thing then was we couldn't play outside. I think we've disproved that since then. So this team is built to play in any type of weather situation. they can go to anybody's house and win as well. But why would you want to go to anybody else's house when you have such a nice place as the Mercedes Superdome? Be in the lap of luxury, get the E-Gumbo, and beat up on these opponents and have that 12th man and all the New Orleans fans drunk off whatever they drunk off, because you know we drink all day here and act a fool in that dome. So I think that's why a lot of people think that it's like if they get that home field advantage, they almost a shoo-in for the Super Bowl in most people's mind.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that'll do it for all our comments here on that previous question of the day. Of course, Sports Coma question of the day: will New Orleans bounce back after the loss to the Dallas Cowboys? Or as Sean C. said, the Cowgirls. But that'll do it for the show. The first installment of the Sports Coma Live, breaking down the Saints and the Bucs preview. Of course, we'll be doing this thing again. We'll have the breakdown, the recap of the Saints matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers later on today. But it's almost game time, baby. We appreciate spending the game day morning with you, breaking down and talking to the Saints. As always, if you enjoy the show, go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Be like my man Sean Sims. Big ups to Sean Sims. Much respect and love to him, as he's a Patreon, and he's one of the reasons why we were able to do a live broadcast today with you. And we're gonna keep this ball rolling. You can join our social media feed. The description section has all that information. You can support our sponsors and help us out as well. So from me and DC and the crew here at the Sports Coma Live, thank you for joining us. Peace.
Hey.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below. NewFrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. NewFrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog, newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for 3 simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs, like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share, and help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.